The California wildfires have been absolutely devastating, with the current count at 80 dead and nearly 1,000 people missing. It's a time of immense pain for Californians and for the country, and President Trump has decided to do what he does best: play the blame game. Just like he did in the Puerto Rico hurricane disaster, Trump refuses to look at the underlying cause of these catastrophes, climate change, and has decided to just focus on what's important, trying to make Democrats look bad.
I was with the president of Finland, and he said, we have a much different, we're a forest nation. He called it a forest nation. And they spend a lot of time on raking and cleaning and doing things, and they don't have any problem. And when it is, it's a very small problem.
If you didn't notice, that was Democratic Governor Brown and Democratic Governor-elect Gavin Newsom standing next to Trump. He was basically telling them to their faces, you didn't rake enough like Finland, so that's why people are dying. And this wasn't an isolated incident. Trump doubled down on Fox News.
I was watching the firemen the other day, and they were raking areas. They were raking areas where the fire was right over there, and they're raking trees, little trees like this that are not trees, little bushes, weeds, and they're raking them. They're on fire. That should have been all raked out.
What about
and
the
out.
argument?
You wouldn't have the fires.
What about the argument it's climate change, that it's drier, it's hotter, and that that's contributing to it?
Maybe it contributes a little bit. The big problem we have is management.
Yeah, the big problem is the management, the Democratic management, you mean? Meaning the Democratic management that pales in comparison to Finland? Is that what you're trying to say? Because you've praised Finland's neighbor Norway in the past as an example of what nation you'd want immigration to come from.
And talk turned to Haiti and countries in Africa at that meeting. He apparently said, this is a quote, "Why are we having all these people from whole countries come here?" He apparently suggested he prefer immigrants from places like Norway.
Let's talk about Finland and Norway then, Donald Trump. As someone who is both very Finnish and very Norwegian in my ancestry, and I still have some family there, I feel uniquely suited to discuss this. Let's follow their lead. Finland is cutting their carbon emissions in half by 2030 and are in fact saving money. The long-held idea that combating climate change is expensive is turning out to be incorrect, says state innovation agency Citra. And Norway, the land filled of white people, your favorite kind? Norway has a staggering tax rate of 78% on oil and natural gas production. The money raised goes into its sovereign wealth fund, the largest in the world at nearly $1 trillion. And that sovereign wealth fund goes to pensions and benefits for their citizens, regular people, because you know why, Donald? Finland and Norway are democratic socialist countries. Norway is actually considerably more wealthy than the United States, with a GDP of over $70,000 per person. It routinely ranks as the happiest or second happiest country in the world. How does that compare to us? America ranks in the mid-teens for happiest countries, while its life expectancy is 2 years behind Norway and actually fell in 2016 and 2017. America's infant mortality rate is 3 times higher. Its murder rate is over 10 times higher, as is its incarceration rate. And Finland, well, they came in first in the happiness rankings in 2018, and their education system is consistently the best or one of the best in the world. If Donald Trump wants to invoke Finland and Norway for cheap political tricks, blaming leaders to the left of him by citing Finland and Norway's successes, perhaps he wants to take a look at the structure of their government. Do his homework for once in his life, because California's Democratic leadership is infinitely closer to Norway and Finland than Donald Trump and the Republicans can even dream of being or even want to be. And Democrats in America still aren't even close enough. But Trump blaming Democrats for not being more like Scandinavia is like a bus driver screaming at his passengers that they need to follow street signs while he drives them straight into a brick wall.